He could hear the tick of the metronome, as if it were posthumously counting the seconds of his life away. The doctor spoke gently, not to alarm him. "I will count down from 5. As I do, I want you to feel completely relaxed. You are safe here. 5, 4, 3. You are feeling very calm. Listen to the tick as the arm swings back and forth. When I reach 1, I want you to let go and fall into the warmth. 2, 1. The doctor checked his patient's eyes. They were calm. "Let me take you back to the missing period in your memories. Now, tell me what you see." The patient faltered. "I remember lights from the oncoming vehicle, the shock of the crash. I don't recall much of the hospital. I must have faded in and out of consciousness. There was a priest, a strange man, who injected a syringe of flowing green fluid into my cannula before I went blank." His tone soothing, he pressed gently. "What happened next? Take your time. You are safe here. Relax." "I remember entering the pagoda naked. It was in the middle of a strange, dark jungle with a weird emerald moon. I recall seeing the old Shinto priest and an Irish lady sitting cross-legged in the corner. They found me strange clothes, Eastern in style. The man claimed I was ethereal. He said he could see a faint green glow around me. He didn't speak English, yet I implicitly understood his words, implying I had magical powers. He urged me to master them quickly before the werevors arrived. The scouts had seen them in the mountains barely a day ago. They were headed this way. There was little time. If they crossed the bridge, then no one in the village would survive." The patient shifted in his seat nervously. The doctor attempted to comfort him. "Experience feelings of calm. These are just memories of dreams. None of this is real. Nothing can bring you to harm. Please continue." "I spent a day practicing with the old man. We found I could lift things with the power of my mind. Telekinesis, I think they call it. It seemed ridiculous, but the woman encouraged me. She said she too came from the hinterland and found her powers by serendipity. It was quite normal. Hers was a sad story. She had died in our world. She awaited her husband, Stellan Giantfist. She was very somber and reflective. Anyway, I digress. I soon found I could move objects around quite easily. It was like pretending I had an imaginary arm, except that when I used it to move something in my mind's eye, it actually shifted in the real world, if that's where I was. The priest was very patient, but after a few days, I could feel the tension growing in him like a cancer. We had barely an hour's warning. A horn sounded in the hills, and it echoed eerily between the trees like the cry of a banshee. I gathered a dozen spherical nightlights filled with methanol. I lit their wicks and waited on the bridge, their flames flickering in the breeze. Before long, they arrived at the far end of the span. Vile, clumsy creatures, half man, half wolf. I was petrified, but hearing the anxious waiting of the women in the village, I bolstered my courage. After all, this was a dream, wasn't it? The patient grew agitated, and the doctor spoke gentle words of encouragement. He then asked curiously, "What happened after?" "The werewolves attacked. I used my magic to throw the nightlights at them. The delicate glass spheres smashed on impact, dousing my enemy in flame. They leapt from the bridge, burning, screaming, but on they came. There were too many, and I ran out of spheres. Menfolk from the village drew their neonto blades behind me pensively, but we knew they had little chance. I managed to lift one of the monsters with my imaginary arms and throw him down the mountainside, but it took much effort. I was soon overrun. Then the strangest thing happened. "What was that?" the doctor asked inquiringly, becoming enwrapped in the tale. The woman, Angel, joined me. I urged her to return to safety, but she merely smiled. She opened her wings, and the creatures were brutally smashed against the rocks. On they came, but she seemed to fend them off with relative ease. Hers was powerful defensive magic. She was busy protecting the bridge from a dozen creatures when I was attacked again. I struggled. A monster closed its maw around my throat. The world went black. I was lost. Then I was back in the hospital. I do remember that her wings were beautiful. They looked otherworldly, like the Butterfly Nebula, as if she wielded the asteroids and exoplanets as hammers to destroy our foes. The man became agitated again, and the doctor interjected apprehensively. "But it was just a dream." The patient raised his arm, and the pen lifted from the desk. Unassisted by human contact, it wrote a message on his pad. It was real. The doctor became stricken and considered his next words carefully. "Let's leave it there. I'll count to 5, and with each number, you will feel more awake. You will remember nothing of this, yet feel relaxed and energized. You will not again seek the services of a hypnotist. You will be content with the missing months of your life and dismiss any thoughts of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The patient left the building feeling content, a spring in his step. The doctor remained rather more troubled by the encounter, his face dark and his frown oppressive.